Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We've got another big one for you today, so let's get straight into it. So today's mod, we're going to be installing the Process West Front Mount Intercooler. What I'm going to start with is removing all the additional bits I've got on the front of the car, and then we'll move on to getting the stock intercooler system out and then installing the new one. To remove the stock charge pipe and intercooler setup, you'll have to remove the stock fan. There's just a couple of power clips here and these two 10mm bolts up top. Then we should be able to reach down in there, unclip everything, start unbolting this top section and get back into it. Because the engine's a little warm at the moment, I'm just going to leave getting that fan out. We'll move up to this top intercooler. You'll have bolts either side, and we'll just pop the clip over here as well. Now with the intercooler released, should just be able to wiggle this connector off over here. Pulls out just like that. And there's the stock intercooler out. Next is to free up this charge pipe. There's one bolt just down here, which is why we're just trying to remove the fan. And then there's another one of these quick release clips on top of the turbo. Now, whilst I wait for the car to cool down slightly so I can actually get my hands in here to free up this charge pipe, I'm going to start removing the front bumper. We've got a couple of 10mm and some pop clips, so I'll get started on this top piece. And there we go, front bumper's all off. It's only a couple of push pins on the bottom. I just forgot which ones are which, so it took me a bit longer than planned. But it's really not too difficult to get it on and off. Now we'll move on to installing the front mount intercooler and showing you how that's all done. To start everything off, we're just going to be removing this crush bar and everything that's attached to it. So at the moment we have the washer fluid line running across the top of it. We'll just unpin that for the moment, remove the crash bar, and then we'll see what's behind it. Now the unique part of this Process West intercooler is it maintains the factory crash bar. This will mean we will be putting this back on at a later stage, but for now we still need to remove it to get the intercooler in. There's a factory crash structure all free. For the moment, we're just going to spin the crash bar out of the way. To continue on, we're going to need to remove this bottom piece. It's another couple of push pins. This is our ambient air temp sensor, so I just disconnect this. The other good bit about this Process West unit is it does come with a relocation kit for this ambient air sensor. I should just be able to remove this for the moment. Push these couple of pins out. Next up will be the core install, I believe. So I'll grab the hardware for that and run you through it. So I just quickly consulted the manual. We've got these lovely 2 brackets here, one for each side. And I've just grabbed the special hardware for them. These go in about here with the flat washer or flat edged washer. I'm just going to leave it loose for the meantime, come across to the other side and do the other one. Those 2 brackets are in for the moment. The other thing that this kit comes with that really helps out is this horn relocation bracket. Well, the problem here is I'm just going to have to quickly undo this crossbar and then we'll see how it all fits in. So after a bit of work, this is where the horn's supposed to be going, but it clashes with the connection points for the cross brace, so I'll have to figure that out in a second. I'm gonna skip over this bit for now and move on to installing the actual core of the intercooler. Installing the core of the intercooler is actually pretty simple. We've got 1 lug up top and we've got another 2 lugs either side. These should line up with the previously installed hardware and this bolt up top. So all I'm going to do is just slot this back and line it up. Now with this core, it was originally a silver core. I have just gone through and given it a quick lick of black paint. This is to help it blend in with the rest of the car and fit the car's actual aesthetic that I'm going for. This has only been a light coat, so it shouldn't interfere with the cooling capability of the intercooler itself. You can get this core in a black color naturally. What's happened for me is I bought it second hand, so you get what you get on the second hand market. So I know the cross brace does fit over. It's just trying to get that horn to fit in. So for the moment, we'll leave everything else off the front end and we'll come back to it in a second. Yeah, it took a bit of work, but we finally got this fan out. You have these 2 connectors that are on top of the fan. They're pretty easy to get to. The one that's difficult is this one down the back here. This is actually on the other side and the clip can be a little annoying. From here now, we've just got this little clip on the charge pipe that we need to get off, and we can start putting things in place. And there we go, charge pipe is out. Keep the clip ring spare as we'll need to use it again. Additionally, there's an O-ring on the inside here that we'll need to use again. So just be mindful of where you put these parts. Moving on to some of the piping, I've located this piece here. It's got a clip ring at the end. What we'll do now is we'll transfer over that clip and the O-ring from the pipe that we've just removed and get that situated on this pipe. So once again, there's an O-ring on the inside here. Comes out just like that. It's actually fairly easy. What we'll do is there's a groove just on the inside here where that's going to sit. If you need to, use a bit of grease to help it slide in, but this is actually going in pretty easy. And just like that, that's in there already. Checking the instructions, we've got our 3 notches on the side that lock this pipe in onto the thing. I'll just install it, make sure we've got the pins facing upwards, so when we do need to undo this, they can lock into the pieces here. But for now, click down, and that's ready to go. The other piece of hardware that we need to get ready is the coupler that goes onto the throttle body. We need to swap out the O-ring from our other intercooler onto this. Here's the O-ring from the old intercooler. This will go into a groove that's on the inside of the coupler here. We'll now go ahead and install the hot side. This should just slot down onto the turbo, like so. And we'll grab one of the bolts we had earlier and mount it. Next we'll grab some of the couplers and worm gears included in the kit. That coupler will run from the inlet there on the intercooler all the way up to that pipe we just installed. It's actually nearly missed a few pieces of pipe here. Just grab this short run and this will couple in on this side here. I'll just quickly get this all set up. So we've got that one on. Slide a worm gear, a worm clamp. We'll now slide this piece of pipe in. Slide another clamp on. Slide this piece of pipe on. And then we'll grab our U-shape pipe. Feed it down from the top. Grab another couple of these clamps. Feed that one on there. With that all installed, I'm going to go ahead and attach all those clamps in, make sure everything's right, and then we'll move on to the cold side. So I've just finished up installing all the hot side. We have the pipe connecting down to the turbo there. We've got the airbox back in with that cutout for that piping. Inside of there we have a coupler plus the air intake. Moving down, that coupler comes around onto another small section of pipe and to the intercooler. Bottom of this pipe here also has the provision for the ambient air sensor. And with that, we're finished on this side of the car. There's still quite a bit of work to do on this side of the car for the cold side, so I'll get started on that and show you what we've got. I've just spent a little bit of time off camera getting this front section installed. Just a little tip is to undo the washer bottle, the bolt there and the bolt here. That allows you a bit of room to maneuver to get that pipe in. Now for the trickiest part of the install. The instructions call to push down on this and to cut this bracket in here to allow that to push down, as this pipe will run up and over and behind it. I've seen it done where you just swap this line to the other side and you're still able to push it down, but it is also the AC line, so it is quite a bit of a tricky situation if I do damage it in any way. So I'll try and do this off camera and let you know how I go. I'm just doing a quick test fit of this top pipe here. As you can see under here, I have taken out, I did manage to cut that little bit off with the rotary bit. I'm now just test fitting this pipe all the way through, and then we'll get onto the coupler there. And there's another little bit here that just bolts in onto one of the old intercooler bolts. It's another bracket included with the kit. But for the moment, we're on the home straight. Just got to get the O-ring sorted for here. That's causing me a bit of trouble at the moment. But once I get that sorted, we should actually be good to go. To get the O-ring into this coupler here, I highly recommend a flat-edged trim removal piece tool. It does take a little bit to get in there, but as you can see, it's in there now. It does like to try and twist itself and get in some weird orientations, but we're done for now. So we'll get this on the car. We've got the 4 pieces of hardware used to install it. These look like they're hex heads, so we'll get the old bolts off the car and install this section. We're back on the tripod now because it's actually stopped raining outside. That's the whole reason I went handheld for a while there, just to keep the camera safe. What we'll do now is just uninstall the 4 bolts around the coupler here. These bolts, like a lot of things on this project at the moment, are 10mm. And there's that piece off. It's just 3 bolts on the side, and that's where your old intercooler will connect into. We'll go get the new hardware and get that installed. Led you all astray a bit there. There is actually a 4th bolt on this back corner. Took me a while to figure that out and wonder why it wasn't actually sitting flush. I'm just going around now and tightening this down for the final bit. There we have the throttle body connection. When you remove that, just be careful that these bolts do go all the way through that throttle body. So just make sure everything's realigned correctly before tightening it all down. We're in the home stretch now. So I'm just gonna grab that last pipe, connect it on, and connect it on, and we should be good to go. So I've roughly got this top pipe position. I'm just gonna go through the manual now and just make sure all the logos are facing the right way on the couplers so I know everything's gonna be good. Make sure I've got the right couplers in the right spot. Only going to partially do that one up for the moment, just so I can line this all up. And the last coupler of the install, and that should be most of the pipe work nearly done. And there we have it. Cold sides in as well. So we've got the coupler on the throttle body with the new adapter. Comes up and around. Coupler just next to the battery box. That piping comes down past the windshield washer and into here. I'm going to go around off camera and just tighten everything up. I'll come back and show you what we're going to do as far as the horn and the front brace are concerned. Been probably half an hour. I've gone through several iterations of just trying to get the horn to fit in. It's just trying to find the right angle and getting this bracket all back squared away. In the future, I am looking at a set of Heller horns, so I just got to make sure I have clearance from that bolt in front of the intercooler. This is the relocation point for the ambient temperature sensor, so that all fits in quite nicely. Everything else is looking pretty good now. Everything's tightened up and squared away. I'll reinstall the crash structure, which is just sitting off to the side at the moment, and then we should be able to start buttoning everything back up. It's looking pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with this install. Everything's finished up now. Finally got the bumper back on. That took a bit of work as it was clashing with the pipe on the left hand side here. So just had to rework a few things to make sure that all works. But as you can see there, nice and hidden away in that black color scheme, blends in nicely with the rest of the car. We got that horn all sorted out as well. I've just taken it for a quick test drive, just make sure she's all good, and we seem to be able to build boost so we don't have any boost leaks, so I'm pretty happy. Now onto the subject of tuning. I've actually got the car booked in for a couple of days time, and we've still got the J-pipe to go on the car as well. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to get the mechanics to do that, as I don't want to strip a bolt on the J-pipe to the turbo. That's the last thing I really want to do. This one was a lot more difficult than I anticipated it to be, but I don't think it was the actual install or the actual, I don't think it was the actual front mount itself. It was all the ancillary stuff that was a bit more difficult. So it is doable by yourself, but I highly recommend getting it done by a workshop. The other thing of note is, as I was reinstalling the bumper, I've scratched up all the vinyl that I had covering the lights, so I've had to take that off. So we're back to just plain white lighting now. It's not a big deal, but just something else to watch out for. That's all I've got on this one, guys. Next one up is going to be the big one with the J-pipe and tuning, so stay tuned for that one. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow along on all the socials to keep up to date. See you in the next one.